Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's Coercitio. Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2 is about to release tomorrow as of the date of me making this video. And I have 5 things that every beginner should definitely be doing, or 5 things that every beginner should definitely know before hopping into the game. Now, not too long ago, I finished the game on the Angel of Death difficulty, the game's campaign, and I've been doing some leveling with the Bulwark and Vanguard classes in the co-op. And these 5 tips will be invaluable to making your experience a lot more manageable in the game, because this game can definitely overwhelm you at some times. Tip number 1, when you're getting swarmed by the Minoris enemies, this is going to be the small enemies that jump at you with the 4 claws on the Terminid side, and then on the Chaos side, these are going to be the snipers, as well as the shielded, and also the other guys with the machete. It's more beneficial to just kind of wait and play a little bit more defensive when you're getting swarmed, rather than trying to cleave your way through a whole swarm. Try to employ a mix of defense and offense. Defense when you're parrying and trying to knock the swarm off balance, and then going for offensive AoE moves, things like the power strike or the power whirl with the power sword, or some type of heavy slam with the power hammer will be very effective here. I know that these moves have very long wind-up times, but if you're able to, again, play defensive in the beginning, get a parry, and then do the move, you'll have a much better time doing it in a swarm. If you're just swinging your sword all through the swarm, you're not really paying attention to when the enemy is attacking you, and you're not going to be able to either block or parry any of these enemies while they are attacking you. And when these enemies do hit you, these Minoris enemies, they do take away one of your armor bars, and if there's like 20 or 50 of them attacking you, they can pretty much shred through your HP like butter. That being the case, when you are fighting a swarm of these enemies, you want to be as vigilant as possible and not really as aggressive as possible. You more want to watch what they're doing. Try to get a parry off, because if you do parry them, you can kill more than just one of them, and it does kill them instantly as well. So definitely being more defensive, stopping and waiting when you're getting swarmed, it will benefit you tremendously in these situations. And that tip is going to lead into our second tip, which is parrying enemies even when you don't see the blue indicator. So when I first started playing this game, I did not know this, because in this tutorial they told me that I had to wait for a blue, and they didn't tell me that I had to wait for a blue indicator. They gave me the impression that I had to wait for a blue indicator, because they said if you see a blue indicator, parry; if you see a red indicator, dodge. So originally I was thinking, okay, you just dodge all the hits. If you see a blue indicator, you parry. If you see a red indicator, you have to dodge. No, you can parry every hit in this game that is not a red indicator, even boss hits. So parrying, even if you have a read on when an enemy is going to attack you, or if you start getting accustomed to the enemy's movements, you want to be parrying even when you don't see the blue indicator, because a lot of enemies do have follow-ups after their blue indicator. Like the whip and like the sword and whip enemies on the Tyrannid side, they have a blue indicator whip attack, and then they'll hit you 3 times after. And if you're not ready to parry those hits or dodge those hits, parrying is more preferable because it allows you to get a gun strike. Then you will get whipped 3 times back to back to back, and there's not really much that you can do about it, and it does a lot of damage as well, especially when you're playing on substantial and higher, or when you're playing on the Angel of Death difficulty. So watching and again parrying, playing more defensive, and parrying even when you don't see the blue indicator and you're able to time the enemy's attack is going to come a long way in fighting Majoris enemies as well. Tip number 3, this tip is going to be for those pesky enemies or the pesky elites that you see trying to spawn extra enemies in your mission. Why are you trying to spawn extra enemies in my mission? This game is already hard enough. Why are you doing this to me? You can stop them from doing this depending on the weapons that you are using. You are able to disrupt these enemies from ever spawning any extra adds from afar. Weapons like the plasma pistol, weapons like the last fusel, the laser sniper rifle, weapons like the bolt rifle with grenade launcher are capable of staggering the enemy even from afar. So you can use these weapons to stop the enemy from spawning any extra adds when you do see the indicator over their head. So this tip is kind of a 2-in-1 tip. The first side being to stop the enemy from spawning extra adds when you do see the indicator over their head. The second part being to use weapons like the, again, plasma pistol or the last fusel to stagger the enemy from afar if you're not able to get up close to them and melee them. Tip number 4. This tip is going to be specifically for the operations mode. When you are leveling each class and you're first starting out the operations mode, you will be tempted to go ahead and get some of the cooler colors to recolor and reskin a lot of your classes and make them more personalized. In my opinion, it is more beneficial for you to hold on to those currencies to upgrade classes, especially if you're going to be leveling more than one class at once. It's more beneficial to upgrade the classes first and then worry about cosmetics later. I know this kind of seems like it should go without saying, but some people like to be dripped out, like me, for example, and they want to spend their money on some of those cosmetics. Again, it's not necessarily the end of the world if you do it, but just for efficiency's sake and trying to get as many classes maxed out, if you wanted to try out a lot of classes, I would say it's a lot better to just hold on to those currencies, max out the classes that you want to max out first, and then go back in and customize them to your liking. You can still customize the armor pieces and everything like that, but the colors, I would say to hold off on that for a little bit until you at least figure out what class that you definitely want to main, or the class that you'll be playing a lot of or spending a lot of time on. Tip number 5, this is going to be, again, specifically for the operations mode. When you are playing operations and you do find a gene seed, you want to make sure that you protect this person with your life. Pretty much, if anyone has to die, make sure it is not them. If they go down even once, even if they have a revive, even if they have a guardian relic, they will lose that gene seed and you will lose that XP. So if you have to throw yourself at the enemy to make sure that that gene seed carrier does not die, in my opinion, go ahead and throw yourself over there, brother. Save your brothers and they will save you some XP. Now this is just something extra, not necessarily a tip, but more something that you should keep in mind when playing operations. Make sure that you are exploring the map. Try to explore as much of the operation as you can. There are a lot of collectibles like the armory skulls that you can collect that will give you extra points that you can come back inside of the loading bay and unlock new weapons and new epic and legendary gear to further upgrade your classes in operations. So make sure that you are exploring. Don't really tunnel vision too hard on just trying to kill the enemies, and make sure that you do explore. That being the case, those are my 5 tips that I believe every beginner should definitely know when playing Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2. Let me know if I helped you out in the comments or by leaving a like on this video. Thank y'all for watching. I will catch y'all in the next video, and be easy, be safe. Peace.